Hey y'all, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan, and typically you don't see me on YouTube in a vertical way. I'm so sorry for that. I had to film this for TikTok as well, so I am going to be including more details on here, but I wanted to just film everything in one go. I actually overslept this morning, so I'm just trying my best. Hello? Pete, stop hissing at people. And I'm also mixing up the schedule a little bit. Today was supposed to be reading your scary stories, but like I said, I am running late and just trying my best, so we're going to flop that around a little bit. I think flip was the correct word. I get a lot of questions about if Ouija board apps work and if they don't, and yeah, they do. Are they the most reliable? No. Are Ouija boards themselves even that reliable? No. So let's get into it. When you get into like spirit boxes and spirit talker apps, Ouija board things, it's all frequencies of energy, so they still work. You still need to follow the rules. You still need to do everything. You need to say goodbye when you're using these apps because it's still very dangerous. You're still opening up a portal. But, I mean, I wouldn't use them over a traditional Ouija board, but I also, don't really use Ouija boards very much anymore because they terrify me. I would still go for the traditional board, but please still take the app seriously because it will seriously mess you up if you don't follow the rules and you're not careful. So first, I guess let's do a little bit of backstory on the mimic situation, just in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. So a few years ago, I started seeing something that looked like my husband when my husband was nowhere near me. He would literally be straight up not at home sometimes or on a different floor of the house, and I would be seeing him in reflections, and then I started catching him on camera. Things would escalate. I would start hearing him when he, wasn't home as well, and it was just not a good time. I ended up doing a cord cutting ritual to get rid of it. It then bounced to my husband because I didn't do a banishment after, which is why I tell you guys to do a banishment after. He didn't do a banishment after, and it's now attached to my father, and my father will not do anything to get rid of it because he's super religious and doesn't want to do a cord cutting ritual. So this thing's still plaguing my father. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I do have a full breakdown. I will link it in the description of all of my mimic encounters because there's been a few. But with all of that being said, I guess we should get right on into these comments. So some of these comments have literally nothing to do with the video, but I just wanted to address them because they irritated me. So listen, that footage was raw and unedited. You saw when I hit record and when I stopped. I didn't edit anything in. I didn't cut anything. You can even see me stop to think about what I'm gonna say next. There's no jump cuts. That is by definition raw and unedited footage. I don't know if you guys thought because I put something before it to give a little disclaimer that suddenly made it edited. It doesn't. I didn't touch that footage. There's actually quite a few people that said that. I don't know what you guys classify as unedited, but I classify it as unedited. I didn't edit the video. Also, let's talk about that little disclaimer that I gave. I only gave that because when I posted the previous video asking if you guys even wanted to see this, a lot of people asked me to put a disclaimer because they didn't want to see it. And that's why I put the disclaimer. Does it seem dramatic? I mean, maybe. But it's really not. It's more of just a consent thing for me to show that to you guys and put it in your space. So I will continue to put disclaimers even if you think that they aren't needed. So I think there was a little bit of confusion, and I should have explained better what I was talking about. But so okay, it was showing up, it was bouncing. Okay, so I was filming that in front of a window, and you could see the posters obviously that are right above my head. Well, you could see the reflection of the window in those posters, and that's where there was this shadow. I'm not talking about the face. The face is Justin Long's face on a Jeepers Creepers poster. That's literally all that is. I'm talking about the full shadow of a full-grown man like his head and the top of his torso. That's what I was talking about. But I can put a picture side by side of everything so that you see. But I was fully talking about the torso. So can a mimic get bored and leave? Absolutely. But normally they won't if it's after they have formed that initial attachment. That's why it's really important if you see things or hear things that you can't explain, especially if it's like the voices of a loved one. It's really important that you ignore it until you make sure that the source is the actual source. And once that attachment is formed, it grows stronger and the entity just grows in general on what it can do. Mine kept growing stronger and stronger until it was not only presenting itself to me, I was catching it on camera, I was hearing it. There was a lot more occurrences. It was just not a pleasant time. So the goal of a mimic whenever it chooses you to terrorize depends on who you ask, and I honestly think it also depends on the person and the specific type of haunting you're dealing with. The main goal of a mimic is typically to replace someone, whether that be the person they are presenting themselves to or the person that they are pretending to be. They're normally trying to replace someone. But that's not always the case. There have been a lot of occurrences where I genuinely think that a mimic was just showing up to create as much chaos as possible and then pieced out. So it really depends on your situation and just who you are, I think, and how, well, I guess this is like with the situation, like how the haunting is going. Something else that I want to throw in that I like to say anytime I'm talking about a mimic, because the internet would have you think otherwise, mimic hauntings are not as common as people online make them out to be. Now, am I saying these people are all faking because they're not that common? Absolutely not. But mimics are not the only things that mimic. In fact, most things within the spiritual world can and do mimic. They're just not as good at it as mimics are and aren't like as known for it. A big example being the things in the woods of Appalachia. They mimic voices. They're known for doing that, but it's not a mimic. So if you are dealing with something that is mimicking and you're like, oh my god, I'm dealing with a mimic, now I'm terrified, don't automatically jump to that because it could be something else, something much easier to get rid of. You want it to be something other than a mimic always, because mimics are very hard to get rid of, and if you don't do it just right, they'll go away for a second, come back. It's not a fun time. So this next comment had literally nothing to do with the video, but I'm still gonna address it anyways because it irritates me. Listen, when it comes to craft work and getting tattoos specifically with meanings behind craft work, it is all about the intention in which you put that on your body. And I will always advocate for getting sigils tattooed on you. They're incredible for protection, for strengthening bonds with deities if that's what you want to do. Literally any little incantation you want to put on them and just have permanently on you, they are incredible for that. The only thing that I say is if you are going to get a tattoo of a sigil, especially if it is a deity, do research on there. Make sure that you know what you're doing, what you're getting into. So get sigils tattooed on you if you want them, but do your research first. You should be doing that with any symbols. And also, can we stop telling people that like they're having bad things happen to them because of their tattoos? Because that's just actually insane. For one, I was having these problems way before I got this tattoo, like back when I was a Christian. So I mean, unless we're gonna be blaming all deities, let's not blame Lilith. Or Hades for that matter. My husband has Hades sigil tattooed on him, and I've gotten told countless times that I'm having the kind of luck that I am because of his tattoo. And it's like, no. The final thing that I wanted to address also, I guess didn't really have anything directly about a mimic involved in it, but it's something I do want to talk about because I see it happen all the time with people. Why it's my videos specifically that glitch out so badly, I don't know if it's a supernatural aspect or if it's me like doing something wrong when I upload it. I have no idea, but it's too many to ignore. So I am really sorry that that's happening. I have had people tell me that it stopped once they spiritually locked their phones, which tells me it could be something supernaturally charged. So I do recommend spiritually locking your screens before you watch my content if you can and if you're comfortable doing that. A lot of you guys were asking in the comments what lip combo I was using, and it was this one, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, that video was a second ago, but this is MAC liner in shade I Can't See It. Oh my god. Oh, it's upside down. In shade Cherry. So it's this liner, shade Cherry. And then I was doing a NYX liquid lip in shade... I'll put the shade on the screen. I can't see it. I'm literally gonna have to like shine a flashlight because it's dark over here. Now we just need a setting spray. And there's the final makeup look. Yay. That is all. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And if you have any questions about what makeup I use, just ask me in the comments and I will try to respond. And I will see you tomorrow where we will be reading your scary stories.